Hello and welcome to Intentionally Waiting, Season 2, Episode 6. So, what am I going to talk about today? It's probably been a while since I've been on, that I've actually spoken to you guys. Took a couple of weeks off, primarily because I was at a point where, I literally had nothing. I didn't know what to say when I showed up. I really didn't have anything to say other than I was in a confused state of mind and I didn't really want to show up just kind of like staring at the screen and not having anything to say. So I had to get some clarity about how I was feeling and processing that so that I can almost understand what's going on. And I think sometimes you do have moments in that where you don't feel 100% and you don't know the reason why, and there's nothing specific you can pinpoint to. All you just know is that you've got these feelings and you've got these emotions going on, and you're trying to make sense of them, and the more you try to make sense of them, the more confused you get. So I've been in a period of confusion, and it happened, especially when you have an expectation of something that doesn't line up the way you think it's going to line up. In this period of intentionally waiting, as you know, it's not about just sitting back and waiting for things to fall in your plate. It really is about leaning in, but at the same time letting things flow through you, and not getting stuck. And I think I've had a period where I've got stuck. So, and what I mean is that something's come my way, and rather than me let it just go through me and just see what happens, I've kind of like hung on to it and held on to it. And remember when I used to talk about things about people being in your life, and it's about opening up your palm, and those that will stay in your life will come back, they'll just be there, and those that will leave your life will leave your life, and you've almost got to let it happen. But there comes a point sometimes when you and this is what's happened to me, when you meet someone and you think that, oh wow, you've got a great connection, and you think that this is something that is going to work out in one way or another, and you have that you just have that tendency to kind of like try and hold on to it. And I think this is the play out of that. This is the play out of that scenario, and trying to prise my hand open to let it go kind of has been difficult. And I think in that period, what tends to happen, or what's happened to me, is you kind of like live your life differently. So you no longer see your day as your day. You no longer see your week as your week, because you're just focused on this one thing that you think is going to happen. And each day you put more investment in, and more time and more energy, thinking it's going to yield something, because you think, if I plant a seed, of course it's going to yield harvest somewhere else. But sometimes seeds that you plant don't yield a harvest. Sometimes they just don't. Sometimes the seed that you've planted is the wrong seed, and it only yields a weed. And sometimes it needs to be uprooted. So it's like, if you're going through a period where you don't know, or it's almost like the fruits of whatever you planted is bringing like disappointment, is bringing anger, is bringing negativity into your life, then you know that that's not a good seed. And the only thing you can do is uproot it. Because if you don't uproot it, if you allow it to just stay, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse, and you're just going to get weeds. You're going to get more of what you don't want coming into your life. And you don't want a situation like that. Well, at least I don't want a situation like that. But for the past couple of weeks, that's how I've been feeling. I've been feeling like I've been feeling anxious, I've been feeling really negative, I've been emotional, you know, all of these things happening to me. And it's like, I can't put my finger as to actually what's caused it. But I do know that in that happening, I've kind of like let my opportunities go through the window. So I'm no longer looking at the opportunities that are being presented to me every day. Like I always say that every single day we get presented with new opportunities. We cannot take on board all the opportunities that are presented to us in a specific day, because we just do not have the capacity. But what we do is that we kind of like take for granted an opportunity, or we don't even see it because we're focused on something else. When you're busy, focused on something over here, you can't see what's over there. You literally can't, because you're focused on what's over here and you can't see what's over there. So many opportunities during the past couple of weeks has just passed me by because I've just been focused on this one thing. And it's like, and it's not for me to kick myself, because we all go through it. We're only human. You know, we are human. So things are going to happen and things are going to break us down. But the minute that you realize that you're on a spiral that is taking you to nothingness, you got to kind of snap out of it. You have to snap out of it. Otherwise, you can spend weeks, months, years just focusing on the wrong thing. And for me, in focusing on the wrong thing, it's kind of like brought my energy levels down. It's impacted, you know, my my vibrancy and the manner and the way in which I show up. It's just had so much negativity going on, and I want to put that to a stop, because it's like I just don't want it in my life anymore. I want to be able to focus on what's in front of me, you know, the opportunities in front of me. I don't want to miss them, because it's so weird, because today I was at a location and I didn't even see an opportunity that was right in front of me, because I was busy thinking of something else. I was busy focusing my mind on something else. My whole energy was focused on something else, and I missed the opportunity that was presented right in front of me to experience. And, you know, when that happens, you realize that you're going down a real bad, slippery slope, and you need to get back into the game. So now I'm showing up because I want you to know that in this period, there are going to be times when something's going to come across your plate and you may think, oh, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the direction that I should go. Maybe this is the focus. Maybe this is it. And you end up putting all your energy into it, all your time into it, all your opportunities into it. And what you do is you forget to live for the moment. You forget to live for the day. You forget to focus on what's actually being brought in front of you. And then you miss it. You know, you just miss it. And not because it was difficult to find, it's just because you weren't looking. And you need to be able to have everything, all your focus open, so that you can look and you can see and you can step into the things that you need to step into. And I'm not trying to say that if an opportunity comes your way that you shouldn't check it out and see how it's going. But what I'm saying is that you shouldn't put your whole energy into it. No. Like, because if something is for you, it's for you. There's nothing that you can do if you step into something that is for you. There's nothing that you can do that's going to take that from you. It's there, it's yours. You've stepped into it and it's yours. But if you step into something and all the signs are showing you that this is not yours, and, you know, you're not getting any energy coming back from it, then you know that it's not for you, or at least it's not for you right then. Sometimes something could be for you, but it's not the right time. And if it's not the right time, don't just sit there waiting for the time to come. You know, go look for other opportunities. Go look at other things that are coming your way. Go put your foot into other things. Step into the things that are there for that day. Because if something is for you, but the timing is not right, when the timing is right, it will be there ready for you to take on board. But all too often, I know for me, and I don't know for you, but I know for me, my whole focus just goes, because sometimes it's like you're trying to get the joy from it. You're trying to like hold on to it. You're trying to think, oh yeah, there's joy in this area. There's got to be joy. There's got to be joy. And you're rummaging through, and you're looking and you're looking and you're looking. And you keep looking, and then you realize that there is nothing there for you. There may well be joy, but it's not your joy. It's not the joy for you. It might be a joy for somebody else. You know, somebody else might rummage in the same sack, and it might be the joy for you, for them. But if it's not for you, you need to move on. And it's like, it's taken me a couple of weeks to come to this conclusion that, you know, there is the right time for stuff. And no matter how much you want something to happen now, if now is not the right time, it's not going to happen. And you've got to accept that. And you've got to know that when the right time is the right time, the things will happen just naturally. You know, sometimes people come into your life not because they're there to stay. Sometimes they come into your life to leave your life, you know. Sometimes they come into your life just to deliver a message. Sometimes they come into your life for a season, you know. But, you know, when something comes into our life as well, we have to cherish it for that period of time that it's in our lives. And sometimes that period is just a day. Sometimes it is just an hour. But for that hour, enjoy it. For that day, enjoy it. Step into it. Don't for 1 minute think that because you've spent an hour or a day with somebody or with something that you're going to get another hour or another day. Don't for a minute think it. Like, this is why we're blessed, because every single opportunity we have is a blessing. And if we get to spend a day with somebody, that's a blessing. If we get to spend another day with somebody, that's another blessing. But we're not entitled to it. We're not entitled to that other day, you know. So we need to just take what we have and be in the moment, live in the moment, and know that when we've got something, it's great. When it goes, something else is going to come in, you know. Don't keep the door open for something that is not going to come back, or you don't know is going to come back, you know. Just every door goes both ways. It opens and it closes. And some doors, when they close, they're closed for good. But some doors, when they're closed, they can open again. And that's fine, you know. But don't stand by the door just looking to see if you're going to get another day. You know, go through another door, because every day's got its own opportunities, got its own pleasures. And obviously, yes, it's got its own sorrows as well. Yes. And sometimes we've got to lean into those. We've got to lean into the feelings. We've got to lean into things that happen on a daily basis. Yes, sometimes they're not what we expected, but it's there for us to be able to navigate through. Like, I don't think if we lived in a world where everything went right, where everything went according to what we wanted, I don't think we'd be happy. We wouldn't, because to be fair, we go looking for drama. We really do. You know, when everything is going 100%, we're always thinking that, oh gosh, something's got to go wrong. We go looking for something to go wrong. We go looking for drama. We go looking for issues. We have the statement which says it's too good to be true, because we can never believe that anything is too good to be true. And I think, you know, trauma and difficulties and unfortunate situations are brought into our life to grow us, to make us into a better person, to be able to help us to navigate. Because if you don't know what sorrow is, how can you tell what joy is, you know? If you don't know what sadness is, how can you tell what happiness is? We need these things because we need to be able to understand our feelings and what we're going through. And sometimes you have a feeling that goes through and you don't understand it. And sometimes it is just about, you know, taking that time out to know and to understand, what is this I'm feeling? I've said this before. I've said it in season 1 where I was talking about, what is it I'm feeling? Let this feeling flow through me, you know, as opposed to just trying to stop it and trying to go, well, I must be sad. Because, for example, we cry when we're happy, we cry when we're sad. So when you're crying, how do you know if you're sad or if you're happy? How do you know if you're crying because you just don't know what else to do? Do you know? Sometimes we have these emotions and we're quick to label it that it must be this or it must be that, and it's not necessarily the case. So I know I'm rambling off, and I'm hoping that I'm making sense to somebody here. What I'm trying to say is that in a very small nutshell is we have to live today for today. We really do. And we need to recognize that every single day is blessed. And just because we have something in our life today doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be our life tomorrow. And we have to be okay with that, you know, because the things that are going to stay will stay. Don't try and force something to stay, because just like you're not going to stay in a situation that you don't want to be in, don't expect somebody else to stay in that situation, you know? And be grateful for the moments that you get to share and spend with somebody. You know, lean into it. And don't do half measures, because sometimes you might regret it. Sometimes you might think that you were going to see somebody again, and it's just not going to be the case. That one moment that you spent with them was going to be the moment for the rest of your life that you're going to see them. Not because they've died or anything, but just because, you know. And I've got to come to terms with that. You know, sometimes you want to form friendships and they don't want to form friendships with you. I've got to come to terms with that, and I've got to be okay with that, you know. I have to be okay with that. But it's taught me a lesson that I really do need to be in the moment. When you do something, be 100%. Show up 100%. Don't show up half measures. Put your all into it. If you've got something to say to somebody, tell them, let them know, because you may never get that chance to do so. You may never get that opportunity to do so, you know. Don't hold on to anything. There's just no point. Why do you hold on to stuff? You know, you're only hurting yourself. Let everything flow through you. Let it be. I think, like, I'm going to navigate from now on my life a little bit different to how I've navigated it before, because I've been, you know, I hold a lot in just because I'm afraid of the reception that I will get if I share it with somebody. But I feel like it's not about the other person, it is about you. And if somebody is truly in your life from a perspective of love, they'll appreciate it. They'll appreciate what you've got to say. They don't necessarily have to agree with it, you know, but they will appreciate it, you know. And I think when we say things in love, or when we say things in love, it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be great. It doesn't have to be like, you know, a ha-ha moment. Sometimes we say things in love and it causes another person to reflect, another person to think. But as long as we've not said it to harm anybody or to hurt somebody, but we've said it because we just want to show what love looks like from us to them in the manner that we know how, then it can't hurt, and it's never harmful. And I think if you're going to take one thing away today, it is about being open, and it is about, well, I said one thing, two things. One thing. If I could say one thing rather than two things, I always do this. I always say two things, but if I could say one thing, I would say live in the moment, because you just never know if you're ever going to get another opportunity to relive it, because there's no 2 days that are the same. Every single day has been created, and this is why we're so blessed. God has created every single day to be unique. We're the ones that try and make it the same. We're the ones that try and want to do the same things on a continuous basis. But God has created every day to be unique. And if you would only grasp that one thing, grasp that. Because when you wake up in the morning, your day is going to be unique to you. Not to anybody else, to you. And it's what you decide to do with that day that's going to determine what the outcome is going to be. So look at all the opportunities, look for them. They are all there. There's too many for you to handle, so you can never miss all the opportunities. Just take them. Go with it. See where it goes. Enjoy them for that day. Don't expect it to be there tomorrow, but if it is, that's great. But if it's not, that's okay as well, because there's going to be more opportunities coming your way. And that's what I want to share. I'm going to do a prayer like I always do. I started off with a different prayer this morning, but I think that this is the apt prayer for now. Dear God, thank you for today. Thank you for all that is in my life. Help me to remember that nothing apart from you stays the same. Help me to learn to not take anything for granted or anybody for granted. Help me that I may continue to strive to live in the moment and in all the things be present for the things that have been put before me each day. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.